All right.
And 1, 2, 3, we're live. We're live. After I closed all the tabs on my Google Chrome and came back. So, how are you, Pete?
All right. We are live.
Pete's living in a fucking
I
mansion now.
am mediocre.
You're
I
mediocre.
am. I
Well, that's
am. I
fine.
have moved up just like the
Just muted
Jeffersons,
you.
but my
Okay. Yeah,
computer
you're
is a
moving
mess.
on up.
So I'm.
Moving on up.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
So he's moving on up. But it's cool. Yeah. So Pete had a big move this weekend, like last minute move, and I'm
A
still in
few
the same
days.
place. But we are here. It's Monday night, so and this week I was telling Pete before the show, I'm like how he was because it's been so fucking hot, man. It's like you take a shower and it's like you didn't take a shower, and I can smell myself. I'm like that's stinky right now. So, fortunately, I don't have to go out and meet with anybody in the near future. Wednesday, I do. So, I need to take a shower, a really like a cleansing bath before
Yeah.
Wednesday with some frankincense or something. I don't know, mirth and frankincense. But, anyhow, guys, tonight we'll be talking movies as usual. We've got Mignones, however you say that in French, which is cuties. And I'll explain why I put that poster up instead of the the Netflix one in a second. And what do you got there, Pete? He's there. We got Into the
I
Forest.
have Into the Forest, a Canadian movie
Oh man, I think the internet has something against you because as soon as
the
Pete needs to
lovely
say
Miss
something, it
Ellen
cuts out.
Page.
Ellen Page, okay, Into the Forest. And then we got Robin's Wish, which is a documentary about the last days of Robin Williams's life, mixed with a bit about his career and stuff like that. And last, we've got Kingdom. And hopefully Pete will be back because I think he's having some audio issues. It always, as soon as we go live, is when we have these audio issues. So we'll try to fix that as soon as we can. And good news is that Pete told me that he finished
All right.
his
Well, we're apparently
what?
still. All right. So, yes.
Yeah, you sound demonic, which I personally like
Yes.
when
I
it
was
goes
just going to
demonic.
say Into the Forest. Yeah.
There you go. Now your voice sounds good. But
Yes.
anyway, yeah. So that's it, guys.
Yeah.
We're not gonna spend too much
Into
time on
the
the intro.
Forest is a
Go ahead.
yes. Sorry. Can you hear me? Am I
I can
back?
hear you now. You're back now, brother.
Okay. Yeah. 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 So Into the Forest, Canadian movie starring the lovely Miss Ellen Page, who is a crazy ass social justice warrior, but she does some good fucking movies.
And Kingdom, because I already did the Robin Williams one. And Kingdom, which is it's a South Korean show, right? About zombies.
It is, yeah. It's Korean zombies, but it's also like a 15th century Asian political drama.
I know. I so want to see this show, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Um, but let's get to it, guys. Let's get to it. And I want to start the show before we get into the main course by giving a shout out to this movie right here, which I guess it's pronounced Washuang Hua Mulan. Okay. And it came out this year, and I found out about it when I was on one of the movie sites, and someone just posted it. They said, hey, there's like this kick ass version of Mulan that's on YouTube and it's free and it's from China. Because one of the things that kind of took me out of the Disney version, among other things, was the fact that it was in English and it kind of felt like a very Americanized version of the story. This is hardcore Chinese, bloody, very realistic as far as if you want to get like a sense of there's an actual war going on and there's people that die and things are at stake. And Mulan isn't like just like this Jedi master. I mean, she's a really great fighter. She's as good and if not better than most of the men there, but she's still very much human. Even though they do have those crazy karate stuff that is like what that defies physics because that's just stylistic. But
Right.
everybody does it, not just her. But man, I was really surprised by this. I love this one. I like this one better than the Disney version, mainly for those reasons. I mean, Disney was in a tough spot, where they needed to please a kid audience because it's still a Disney movie, but they also decided to make like a serious version of one of their cartoons. But they didn't. I don't think they went serious enough. So if you want a different take on the Mulan story, and it's very different from the Disney one as far as the battles. The battles are vicious, man. Woof, they're intense, and
Nice.
just the ending is completely different. It's very much up out in the open, and it's depressing as fuck. And I mean, it's depressing, but then you kind of get uplifted. The bad guys, I remember that was one of my first criticisms of the Disney one, is
That
like I
was
was
the
rooting for
weaker
the
point
bad
of the
guys.
Disney Mulan. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was rooting for the bad guys. I was like, okay, they don't seem that bad. In this one, you understand why these guys need to die, like right away. They're like really bad dudes. So I recommend it. I'll link it in the comments, where you can find it on YouTube. Because it's kind of hard to spell out because it's in Chinese or Mandarin, whatever. So it's hard to, if you just write that, you won't find it. So I will link it in the comments. And as long as we're on the karate kick, I started watching Cobra Kai, but I didn't really get into it. But I know Pete's a big fan. Whoops, that's me
I
talking.
am. I am. Yeah. Strike hard, strike first, no mercy.
And so how far are you into Cobra Kai, man? Because I'm trying to get into it. I watched 3 episodes. I'm like,
I,
this is like the grassy high.
I've watched the. I've
How many episodes have you seen? Oh, we lost Pete
It's good
again.
because it's one of those stories. I don't know if you've ever seen the YouTube video. There's some like fanboy that did a YouTube video of about how Johnny is really the hero of Karate Kid, and it's like they took this YouTube
Yes.
video and made a show out of it, and they totally flipped that narrative and made Johnny the hero. And I think it's brilliant, and it's not that you can like completely discount Daniel. Like, okay, Daniel is like worked hard for everything he's had. He's a success. You can't take anything away from the guy. But at the same time, like if you look at their situations objectively, kind of Johnny, he did get shafted.
Well, he definitely got shafted. I love that video. I've seen that a few years back. I was really disappointed that I'm not like that pumped every episode. It's not a bad show, but it's not that the type of show that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see the next episode. And it's only like 20 minutes long. But oh, it's so far. I mean, I want to get to that part where it's dealing more with the adults. As much as, I mean, the kids are okay, but it's like teen drama. I'm not into teen drama type shows. It reminded me of, like I said, Degrassi High, which when I was a teen, I tried to watch it. I couldn't get into it. I think there was Sweet Valley High was the American version of that. And what's the other show that I really didn't like? Glee. It kind of reminds me of like all these kind of teeny bop shows, but so I haven't watched it all the way through yet, but I'm willing to stick with it. I'm 3 episodes in, so maybe it'll get a little bit better as it goes along and focus more on the adults because that for me would be the more interesting story, like the tension between those two. But all right, I mean, I'll give you guys a update if I fall in love with it, like 3 episodes from now or something. Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I like how Johnny
Anyway,
becomes the champion of losers.
he becomes the champion of the
He
losers,
really
right?
does. Like he's like, yeah, I'm a loser now, and Cobra Kai is now going to be about empowering people, and making these loser kids into people who have self-respect.
That part I'm digging. I kind of dig that little kid he's helping. Was he Puerto Rican or
Yeah,
Mexican?
yeah, yeah.
You know, and he can, but it's kind of predictable where it's going, And then the Asian kid is really an asshole, and they don't know, and blah blah blah. So yeah, whatever. I mean, I'll stick with
Not
it and see
really,
what
not
happens.
really. I will tell you, there's a twist in season two, and
Oh, there's a twist.
I'm
No,
not too.
okay. I'm only 3 episodes in, so I only know that
Yeah,
the
there's.
Chinese kid is trying to act like he's all like goody two shoes, but really he's a bit of an ass.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see. I'll keep you
You
guys
gotta have
posted.
Johnny as an ass.
But let's get
You can't.
into the raw deal here, okay? Which is this movie Cuties. That Yeah, I mean it's one
Nice.
of those cases of there's no such thing as bad press, where like you can talk bad about me, just talk about me, as Oscar Wilde once said. And
Yeah.
so because of that, I was like, all right, let me watch this movie. And I'll tell you, I am not afraid to admit when I'm wrong, and I was pretty much on the bandwagon of everybody who was trashing this movie before even watching it, just based on
Right.
the internet whatever reviews. And it makes me wonder if those people actually
Yeah.
watched the movie. I think they watched the
I don't think
Netflix
any of them
promo.
did.
I don't think they did. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Netflix really fucked it up. And Netflix actually apologized to the director of the movie. She was shocked when she saw the poster, and that's why I used the original French poster as the main page. As you can see
Right.
here on the screen, the original French poster is pretty innocuous, just four little girls kind of
Yeah.
happily walking down the street, and then you have the American. Americans always fucking things up. The American Netflix poster, which really does look like something Jeffrey Epstein should have stayed alive for. Uh, and it
Yeah.
doesn't really reflect what the movie is about. And so I'm gonna kind of dispel some myths. One, there's no nudity in the movie, at least none that I could see. I mean, I was half watching it because I'll give you the review of it in a second. I mean, I didn't think it was an amazing movie, so it didn't hold my
Right.
attention
Right.
100%. But there was
But
no nudity
dude,
that I noticed.
dude,
Like, oh my god, a butt,
we
a
we
breast.
we did Romeo and Juliet about 3 weeks ago,
Yes.
and Olivia Hussey was 15 years old in that movie. She bared her fucking
Oh,
titties.
oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know she was that
So
young.
if
She
you
looked
have
older.
huge, if you have huge, yeah, no, she did. Yeah, she was 15. She was 15. So I mean, that's a European thing. I think if you have huge issues with that, you gotta look at Europeans, and it's like they kind of take people as more mature earlier.
This is true, and I was commenting that on Talking Films. By the way, Justin Bramlett, shout out to him. He put up a nice thread on this movie, and yeah, I did say a little bit about that. In that European films in general, they're a little bit more open about showing nudity, even with younger people. But this movie didn't have any, so that's not even an issue. I mean, again, if I missed
Right.
a nude scene in this movie, let me know. I don't recall seeing. Like, there's this one scene where her little brother is in the bathtub, and even then, I think Craig had said, "Oh, the only nudity is the little brother, Craig, our friend Craig that we love.
Mhm.
The only nudity was that the little brother was when he's getting out of the bath, you see his bare butt. But even then, I think he had underwear on, so I don't think there was even nudity with that. So I don't know where people saw that. Um, showing genitalia, showing stuff like that. There's none of that. So, is this a pedophilia movie? It is 100% not. It's actually, when I was watching it, I'm like, this movie is kind of a conservative wet dream because the whole message of the movie is how terrible it is that we sexualize children. And if you go into
Right.
Western culture, that's what fucking happens. Like if you go on YouTube, the first commentary I saw of this movie is these two black guys. One of them's a pastor, and they do movie reviews, I guess cultural reviews. And he was like, you know something, you can just go on Google really quick and you can see stuff that's 100 times worse than this happening in America with these beauty pageants, like these little girl beauty pageants, swimsuit pageants, whatever. And the
Yeah.
movie is kind of saying
Yeah.
like this stuff is kind of fucked up because these girls don't get to be little girls. They're trying to be like a woman
Right.
way too young. And that's basically what the whole theme of the movie is. I just want to read just a little part here from an article from Deadline where they interviewed the director of the movie, and the director said that um, her name is Decore. She said that Netflix did apologize for their marketing of the movie, and it wasn't representative of the film and its message, and how this was really a personal story for her. She said that she put her heart into the film. It's actually my personal story, as
And
well as a story of many children who have to navigate between liberal Western culture and the conservative culture at home, because she's from Senegal and they're Muslims. She's a young Senegalese Muslim girl who's living in France. Her
yeah,
mom is dealing with the fact that her husband is taking on a second wife. The father's never there. The mom is like, you could see that she's upset by the fact that this is happening, but at the same time, she realizes it's part of her culture. So I'm thinking the whole time, like, this is like a
right,
conservative wet dream. It's kind of anti-Muslim, anti-Muslim conservative, their version of conservatism.
right,
It's against this idea of having these little girls just sexualized, because that's what the little girl does. She's trying to find her place. She can't go to mom because mom doesn't know her own place. She's not sure what she wants. So she makes friends with these three little badass girls who are dancing, and they're all also, you never meet their parents. You can tell that they have some problems at home. They're trying to be popular on social media. So she befriends them, and through their friendship, she kind of decides, hey, I want to bear it all. She starts wearing a little halter top. She starts dancing with them, and we find out by movie's end, no spoilers, I guess, that hey, this isn't really what she wants. And the end is actually pretty beautiful. It has I will give that. I like the ending of the movie when she realizes that hey, she maybe just wants to jump rope and be a 12-year-old girl. That's all that she was
right,
trying to find ways to get to being a 12-year-old via being a 30-year-old, or a 20-year-old.
right. So
Um,
it's a fiction story, right? It's
it's a
not it's not a documentary.
Yeah, it's a fiction. It's fiction. Yeah, it's not a documentary. It's all acted. It's all So it's
Okay,
definitely,
that makes it
yeah.
much more
But
palatable.
yeah, the director goes on to say that she spent a year and a half interviewing pre-adolescent girls, trying to understand their notion of what femininity was and how social media was affecting this idea. The main message of the film is that these young girls should have the time to be children, to enjoy their childhood and have time to choose
Yeah,
who they want to be when they're. This is like straight out of Fox News type talk, right?
yeah,
you know? Um, and okay, now I'll give a few more points before we move on. One is how I felt about the film just generally. I mean, it was okay. It's not an amazing movie for me. Some people really got touched by it. It's an okay movie, but then it's just not my topic of choice. Like I'm not into like girl drama. I think that, or even teen
yeah.
drama,
I
which is probably why I'm not into Cobra Kai that much. Go
right.
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no. I was just gonna say that I really did not want to see this particularly because of the subject matter, but I've heard so many good things about it that yeah, I probably will check. Well, I'm downloading it right now actually,
No,
so
you'll like it.
yes, I will check it out.
It's a good movie. There are some scenes that are gonna make you feel uncomfortable, and I'll talk about that in a second. And I think the director did it on purpose because we are supposed to feel uncomfortable about little girls being taught to be sexualized through social media. We
Right,
talked about that a few weeks back. Remember when we were talking about Harley Quinn and how little
right,
girls were trying
right.
to copy Harley Quinn, and
Yeah,
how fucked up
yeah,
that was. It's like Harley Quinn is not a role model. you know,
yeah.
she's not a role model
And,
for
and,
little
and this
girls.
is this is actually a thing here in Brazil as well. Like,
Oh God.
you
Oh,
know,
it's
I try
yes.
to keep my eyes away from the television set, but when you do see your eyes on the TV, it's like the sexualizing of young girls all the time.
Oh my God, yeah. And it's weird because Brazil is supposedly a very conservative country, and yet, yeah, you turn on the TV, well, sexualization of women in
Yeah,
general, but little girls especially, like they have these shows that are just little girls. And you're like, oh my God. So
yeah.
yes, the movie is 100% against that, guys. It's 100% against that. All these scenes that they say are in the movie are not in the movie. Or, well, I'll go into some details about one because somebody had mentioned, a friend of mine actually mentioned, oh, this movie has her showing her genitalia. It does not. Okay, I'll get into what that scene was in a second because I think it's important. Um, but you got to watch it before you comment. I think that that's one thing that I took away from this is it's so easy for us to get sucked into a narrative via the news, via the media, and it's funny or ironic that the folks that are most against this are conservatives. Although this movie tended to
Hmm.
get equal bashing from liberal and conservatives, but the conservatives are still on it.
It got
And
equal bashing. It got
it
equal
got equal
bashing.
bashing, but I'm hearing more conservatives now. I think a few liberals maybe they watched the movie and they were like, "Oh, okay." But conservative media and conservative talking heads are still like on this movie, and it's so ironic because they're the ones that are always rallying against fake news. Fake news. They took the president's words out of context. They took this story out of context. That's all they
Yeah.
rally behind, and it's like it's exactly what you're doing now with this movie. You haven't seen it. You don't know what it's really about. You're taking these clips out of context and taking that poster, which was a horrible poster, admittedly, out of context, and you're judging this whole movie based on that. I mean, just was it 2 days ago? I saw a news report where they're like, President Trump says he wants to be president. He wants to change the and become president forever. I've seen Trump rallies. It's so obvious that he's joking about this to the point where he says, I know
Yeah.
that'll make them go crazy if I say I want to be president for another 8 years. I know that'll make the media go
Exactly.
crazy. He does it on purpose. I mean, that's what he does. Like it or not, he likes
He's
to
a
fuck with
master
people.
communicator.
And he's
He's
a
a
people
master
fucker.
communicator.
He's just
Yeah.
he's a troll. He's like the troll in office, you know. But you if you read it from CNN, you think, oh my God, it's this, like he's it's the second coming of Hitler. He's gonna be the dictator. It's like
Right.
no, it's totally taken out of context. So I think that's one lesson that we can all learn from the backlash of this movie is watch it if you're going to comment because you're either going to come off as
Exactly.
uninformed or worse, okay? And like I said, guilty as charged. I went head on when I watched the trailer and the Netflix. So Netflix did fuck up. That's undeniable. Netflix definitely fucked up with their marketing of the movie. The movie again is
There's
completely
definitely a
against,
very different image there.
and the movie is definitely against the sexualization of children's to the point where there are scenes where these girls are trying to get with boys, and they even like they snuck into like I think it was a laser tag place, and they're trying to get out, and the guy's gonna call the cops, and they start dancing for him, as if to show like, oh, if I dance for him, he'll let me go, and the guy's like, what are you doing? Like that's disgusting. So there's about 3 or 4 scenes where these girls are thinking that that's the way to get out of trouble is through their body, and or they want to get
Right.
with a boy around like 2 3 years older than them with their body, and every time they're shot down. Like there's this one scene where I thought, oh my God, is this movie really gonna go there? Where the four of them are like at this little park or something, and these boys that look about 16, 17 are like, hey, what's up, girls? Because they look a little bit older, right? And then by mistake, the lead
Right.
character, she says, oh, we're 11 when they ask their age, and they're like, oh, it's little girls, and they run off. So over and over, the movie kind of hammers this idea that these girls are being influenced by society, by social media, by all these messages that they get in the media, that's cool, and it's not. So it's 100% against
Yeah.
this. And then one last myth that I want to dispel about the movie or criticism: this movie is like a pedophile's wet dream. Well, guys, I hate to break it to you. I mean, don't take pictures of your kids and post them online. Okay, basically, a pedophile is gonna get off on watching. I mean, like I said, you can find a bunch of these videos of like real little girls dancing. Like that Benet girl that got strangled back in the '90s. Like real girls doing this all the time, and pedophiles are going to find that. So I don't think that's a good argument for this movie not being made. That a pedophile is going to watch it and get off on it. I mean, yeah, like there's a bunch
Pedophiles are
of
gonna
movies
find
with little
shit to get
girls.
off
Don't
on.
take your little girls or little boys to the beach. Then don't put your little girl in a swimsuit. If that's the case, keep your kids locked up in your house because you got sick motherfuckers out there that are gonna be getting off on kids regardless. So I don't know if that's an argument for this movie to be made or not. Um, Now, stylistically, yes, there are some shots in this movie that even as I was watching, I was like, oh shit, because they do some close-ups where you're like, oh, okay, some close-up shots, and then you can agree or disagree with that style, with that shot, with that stylistic uh, idea that the director had. I don't know if it put the girls in peril because, I mean, there's the editing room. I'm sure they kind of filmed it all on kind of wide lenses. They weren't like sticking a camera directly on the girl's bum. You know, they can zoom in, they can zoom out. So I don't know. She did say that she had a psychologist there the whole time. They explained to them what the movie's about, and the girls are 14. I think the youngest actress is 12. Um, but I think the three of
Yeah.
them were 14, and understand that actors are pretty mature. Um, I mean, I watch some
Yeah.
horror movies with little kids, and like, oh my god, I can't believe they put a kid through that. Or even Jodie Foster, Taxi Driver. Come on,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but you got to understand, kid actors, to be a kid actor, I mean, your IQ probably is higher than the average person to be able to be a kid and be able to act hardcore with adults. So these girls, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure, were mature enough to understand what they were doing, what they weren't doing, what message they were trying to get across with the movie. So I very much doubt that they were traumatized. But yeah, when you do watch it, there are some close-up shots. They're quick, but you're like, oh wow. But I think the director wanted to show that, to show the ridiculousness of it, to the point where, okay, mini spoiler, guys, but okay, whatever. There's one of the scenes where they're dancing. The people are booing them. The adults are booing them. Like they were like, oh look, it's so cute. A bunch of like little, in the movie they're 11, a bunch of 11-year-old girls dancing, and when they start doing sexual moves, people start booing. People are like, "Oh no, we don't want to see that." So that would be my only thing. That maybe that could be a little bit strong for some people. Like, "Oh my God, did they have to show a close up of her butt?" Or like when she like does a split or something, and you're like, "Whoa, okay." The director made that choice, and again, I don't think that it was to a point where the girls were affected because in movies, just like in horror
Yeah.
movies,
And I
you
think she comes from
show.
a pretty fucked up background as well.
Yeah, but Pete, I mean, like even when we were watching Aliens, Newt in Aliens, I mean, she's in some really intense scenes, but they film it in a way where you're not going to scare the little girl. So much that when I watched a documentary about the making of Aliens and she watched it in a theater, then she got scared because she didn't realize all that stuff was happening around her, you know? But
Right.
but when you film, you do everything possible to protect the kids, especially when it's dealing with violence
Yeah.
and sex, or
Yeah.
something a little bit more sexual, where I mean, you can do a close up of a kid without the kid even knowing that there's a close up happening of them, you know. So I'm pretty sure these girls are okay. But guys,
Right.
worth a watch if you really want to talk about the movie, and then you can agree and disagree. But at least watch the movie and realized that it actually has a pretty strong message that was really nice. And like I said, I give it like a thumbs up, thumbs down. It's like 50-50 because it's just not my type of movie. I don't like these like teeny bop kind of girl power movies, which in the end is what it is. But it did have a really beautiful ending. And because it was just like, she just needed to be a little girl the whole time. You know, she just needed to be a little girl, and she found a way to be a little girl, but she just took the very roundabout way. So, a strong movie. I'll echo the words of someone in one of the groups who said you should actually watch this with your daughters and have a discussion about it. So, if you're brave enough, do it. And fuck Netflix for, I mean, maybe not fuck Netflix because now we're all talking about the movie, so maybe they did the right thing. I don't know. But let's move
Yeah,
ahead.
I'd say promote.
From a marketing standpoint, they probably did the right thing. But let's move ahead now to Into the Forest, and hopefully your audio will be cool. It's been a cool so far. And Into the Forest is from 2015. And just because I said that, there goes Pete. Into the Forest is a 2015 thriller drama in the wilds of the Pacific Northwest. Two sisters must fight for survival
Yeah,
after
this
an
rock.
apocalyptic
The thing about
blackout
this movie is it
leaves them
reminded me a lot
without
of Colonial.
electricity or cell phones.
All right, yeah. So this reminded me a lot of coronavirus times. It deals with an apocalypse, but a very rural point of view. It's basically about two sisters who. It's a Canadian movie, so it appears to be shot
It's a Canadian
in
movie.
British Columbia, but it's probably supposed to be shot in Washington. And if you think coronavirus is fucked your life, oh my god, a global power outage
That'll fuck you up.
actually
Global power.
causes a lot more damage.
So what happens? These girls are kind of stuck in this. They kind of have to survive on their own during this power outage. By the way, we totally lost Pete, guys. And I have no clue. I've never seen this movie. I'll tell you something while Pete is coming back. I'm just not a fan of Ellen Page. It has nothing to do with her politics or anything like that, but something about her is really boring. And I know she's like a darling of actors, type of an actress. Um, I think she was in that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Inception, and I wasn't into her then. She just seems like she uh she what's the word? She vibrates, you know, she exudes boringness. She's just not someone that really interests me that much as an actress.
All right,
And
testing, 1, 2, 3,
uh,
testing.
you're kind of coming back. I'm while you're gone, I'm talking about how much I hate Ellen
All right,
Page.
I'm back. I
Go
am
ahead.
back. Phil, are you there?
I'm here. Talk, brother. Talk while you can, because it doesn't last long.
Phil,
Yeah. Talk, talk,
do I have you?
talk,
I'm
talk,
here.
man.
I am here.
And
Phil,
say something. Talk, brother. There you go. Well, guys,
All right,
we're
I will tell you what. I'm just going to talk about this movie for a bit.
yeah, just talk. Don't wait to see if you're back. Just talk.
Yeah. So, this is the story of two sisters who live
Put your computer by the
in a
window.
rural area. Very, I believe, a 100. It's a 1 day walk. It's a 1 day walk to the nearest town. So they live in the middle of nowhere, and there's a global power outage. Yeah, I'm talking, Phil. I'm talking.
Continue.
Bollocks.
Continue, Pete. Don't stop, because you have very limited time when your sound is good. So every time you stop, it cuts out. I don't know what happened, guys, because our first when we started doing these, the connection was pretty good. I don't know what happens with Pete's computer, but yeah, you got to give like the flash version of this film, but or try on your phone. If you want, I can send the link to your phone and see if you get better connection on your phone. So let's do this, guys. We'll get back to this movie because we're having a lot of issues with understanding what Pete is trying to say, and so far he's only gotten to the first to the like the tagline of the movie, and we're not even digging into it. So Pete, if you can hear me, I'm gonna try to send the StreamYard link to your phone and see if you can sign on your phone. You might be able to have better connection. Okay, guys, this is live podcasting. By the way, when you do get the Alien podcast, we're not going to have all these issues because we actually recorded on a nice little studio machine, and the sound quality is really nice. So we won't have all these sound issues. But we got to try this. I'm going to send this over here. And meanwhile, I always forget to say, guys, like and subscribe to the page. And you'll have a whole bunch of stuff on this page, from music to other movie stuff. Like I'm watching Lovecraft Country, so I do a little bit of a synopsis review of that every week. Just give me a second here. I'm trying to send Pete the link so he can sign on in his phone because we cannot hear you, brother. Or when we start hearing you, it cuts out. There we go. All right, Pete, if you can hear me, try linking via your phone. Try logging in via your phone. You might have better audio. So we'll get back to this movie. We'll get back to it. And when Pete comes back. So while we wait for Sir Baird to come back, I want to talk about this movie that I saw, which is a documentary. Pete was on the documentary role. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, brother. I don't know if you can hear me, but I did see that movie, Boys Town, I guess it was called, and that was wonderful. That one was really good. That one almost made me cry at the end, and I'm not a very emotional dude. But my goodness, did that really hit the emotional bones? And if you guys don't recall, that's the movie about this little convention that they have every year where they invite 1,000 boys. They split them up. 500 are become the Federalists. 500 become the Nationalists, I believe, and they have to form a government. They'll go to Texas to do that, and they have to form a government. They have to um, elect all the different party representatives up to the governor. Okay, and then the governor is like the governor of all of them, so they have to run a campaign, and it's pretty sad, but pretty honest, where these kids realize very quickly that to win in politics, you got to win dirty. You got to play dirty to win in politics. But there's a silver lining at the end because these kids really they had growth. They learned about themselves, what makes them tick, etc., throughout the movie. So love that one. So that was a really great recommendation from Peter from last week. And we'll see if we get Peter back or not. Peter, if you do come back, just interrupt me. It's not a problem. Um, so I watched this Robin Williams documentary though. This came out this year. It's called Robin's Wish. And oh man, do I wish I could give it a good review, guys. I really do. But it was so fucking depressing. And not depressing in a good way. Some movies are depressing and you're just like, wow, that was a beautiful movie. It fucked my whole weekend up, but it was a beautiful movie like Boys Don't Cry or Philadelphia or whatever, right? Brokeback Mountain. But this was just it kept beating the same beat on that drum for an hour and a half, however long it was, to the point where I was just like, okay, we get it. Like Robin Williams didn't want to die. He had a degenerative disease, a brain disease called Lewy body syndrome, if I got it correctly, where it operates almost like Alzheimer's, or like any degenerative brain disorder, right? Where it kind of gets you all like delusional and paranoid. You forget what you're doing. You forget how to do simple things. Like he kept forgetting his lines, and he would be like, one minute he'd be happy, the next minute he'd be
All right, are we there?
sad. Uh, you're here, but not here enough, Pete. So see if you can sign on with your phone. I sent you the link to your phone. See if you can sign on your phone. I'm gonna send it to you on Messenger. See if you can log in via your phone.
All right, Phil.
Maybe I'm here.
Phil, are you there?
I've been here, Pete. You're the one who's not. I'm okay. I'm here. I'm here. Oh boy. Anybody listening right now, shit happens. And by the way, thanks everybody that does listen. We do get a steady audience every week, which is nice. So thank you all for listening to what we are watching. And hopefully we give you some tips on stuff that you should check out. And you can always leave stuff in the comments, like some stuff that maybe we have missed or we didn't know about. And check that out, please. Okay, so moving on with this Robin Williams documentary. Basically, it's Robin Williams' widow just telling the story of what really happened to Robin Williams. How did he die? Again, another example of how the media can be assholes, like 90% of the time, because they. Oh, let me see. We've got.
There we are. There we are. I'm
There we
back.
are. There
I'm
we are. I'm
back.
back. I'm back.
That was horrible.
That was horrible. All right, way better, um, way better audio. I'm trying to mute your other mic so I don't get an echo. Hi, Pete.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
God,
Hi. So what? We're talking
this
about Ellen
is
Page, right?
this is like beautiful audio. Now, like from now on, let's do these on your phone because this is like perfect audio. There, like that buzzing sound is gone. Everything's like it's perfect. So what I did, Pete, is I moved ahead a little bit to Robin Williams. So you're gonna close out the show because you're gonna talk Ellen Page and Kingdom, okay? Because it
Kingdom.
was cut out too much. Okay, so let's talk a little bit Robin
All right.
Williams, and then we'll head on to Ellen Page.
So
And
you've been talking about
well,
Robin
I had to move ahead.
Williams
I had to move ahead because
this whole time.
not the whole time. I was talking shit about Ellen Page for about 5 minutes, and then I moved on to
I
Robin
thought we were
Williams.
done, man.
No, 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 we weren't
Yeah.
done. I was waiting for you. I was just filling up dead air. But anyhow, Pete, this is a quick review of this anyway. Basically, what I was saying is this movie here. I don't know. I can't recommend it. It just we get the message of the movie is the fact that Robin Williams had a degenerative disease, and that is why he killed himself. He really wanted to live,
Right.
but he still killed himself. He was a really funny and nice guy, but he still killed himself because of this disease. And I fell asleep. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a bad critic because I did fall asleep for about half an hour, and then I woke up, and guess what they were talking about? This disease really fucks up your brain. Like that was the whole movie for an hour and a half. And I wish that they would have spent more time. I mean, they would go sometimes and show his career, show like things that he did in the past, how he was in Juilliard, and then he went to do Mork and Mindy and everybody. But it wasn't enough. Like Robin Williams is about life and about joy and about like he brought so much happiness to so many people. And this movie just made you like really fucking depressed, but not in the good way. That's what I was saying, Pete. How some movies are depressing, but they're like good depressing. You're like, okay, my weekend just got fucked up, but that was like a fucking great movie, like Boys Don't Cry or Philadelphia or Brokeback Mountain or whatever. You know, you're like, okay, that was depressing, but there was still something I
Right.
got out of all I got out of this was just like, okay, that was fucked up. Like, but they do have like a little addendum, like what was Robin's wish at the end. He wrote it in a little notebook before he died. No spoilers. So I wish I could recommend this movie, but there was nothing extra that we didn't already know other than okay, the media fucking sucks as usual because they all were reporting about how he was on drugs, how he was depressed, how he had like marital problems, he was sleeping in different rooms to his wife. The movie kind of explains that stuff. But I don't know if I needed that. Like it's been pretty clear over the last year or so what really made him kill himself. And he and even if he did just commit suicide, like who gives a shit? Like sometimes people commit suicide, they're depressed. That wouldn't take, at least for me, it wouldn't take anything away from his legacy if Robin Williams just said fuck it, I'm done with this life, just on his own accord, and because of depression or whatever, and he killed himself. Like whatever, people commit suicide. So I don't know. I mean, I get that this is the wife just trying to set the story straight. But I don't know if it needed an hour and a half to just keep saying the same thing over and over and over. But I guess you get the message. It reminded me of that Chris Benoit uh, documentary that they did for Vice. What is it what's that wrestling documentary that they do on Vice, Pete? The behind the curtain or something. I forgot what the name of it is. It's a really good docu series that they do on wrestling, but like behind the scenes stuff. And for those that don't know, Chris Benoit was a very famous wrestler who ended up killing himself, and he killed his little boy and his wife, and it was a shock to the wrestling world, obviously. But now, much later, they've come to realize that hey, he just had like brain damage. It could have been caused by all the headshots and everything that happens in wrestling. I know there's stories like that from NFL players who become violent, who also murder people. You don't fuck with the head, but then some stuff just happens because it happens. I mean, just like some folks get cancer, they live a perfectly healthy life and they get cancer. So it's not. I thought that was a nice message of the movie. It's like don't blame Robin Williams for getting this disease. Like some people just get diseases, and they sometimes lead to death. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I was hoping that this movie would be better, but it's just like a super downer. But anyway, Pete, test your audio. Go back to Ellen Page. Let's. I want to know what goes on with these two girls. Any lesbian sex in this movie? Because that'll make me watch it.
No, they're sisters, man. That's gross. That's gross. They're
That's even
sisters.
better. That's even better. Incestual lesbian. Come on. Then
Yeah,
I
they
definitely.
they are hot. They are hot. Ellen Page actually has a heterosexual scene in it, which is pretty amazing. But
Yeah, because she's a lesbian in real life. Isn't she?
no, it's set in the apo. Sorry,
Isn't she a lesbian in real life, Ellen Page? I think she is because she came down here.
dude.
Yes.
Yeah, she is. She is. Yeah, Bolsonaro. Yeah. She did an interview with him. It was great, actually. She said, "You hate gays. I'm gay. What do you think of me?" And he's like, "You are pretty.
I think it
I
was like
would
you just.
wink at you." It's like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's our man.
Weird.
That's our president.
Oh boy. But go ahead, man. Go ahead. Keep talking. I'm gonna not
Yeah,
interrupt you so the
but
audio doesn't go.
yeah. So it it really goes with coronavirus, actually, because they're dealing with an apocalypse as well. It's a global power blackout, and so the whole world loses electricity, and these girls are living in a cabin in the woods from the nearest town, which is probably about 500 people. And they're living with their dad, actually, but their dad their dad drops his chainsaw on his leg and severs his what do you call it, femoral artery. So, and then it's just those two living alone, surviving. What I didn't like about it was that it kind of glorified, this is what we need to get back to doing. We need to get back to be more in nature and touch with, blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, I can tell you, I can take coronavirus. I can take coronavirus easily. Like, it's hard for me because I'm a very social person. I like to go to live. I like to go to events where there's lots. If you took away that, I wouldn't even be able to watch a fucking movie. And that's what I was doing today. I was trying to watch a movie, and my computer. Yeah, I given the choice between bunch of germs and no electricity. I'll take a bunch of germs.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah. Did you get that?
I just missed the last part. Like if you had if you had to go with a bunch of germs and like you can take the coronavirus, but you can't take being out in nature. I just missed that last part. But anyway, I don't know if I'd watch this though. Like I said, I'm not a fan of Ellen Page. She doesn't interest me. She's like that other girl that everybody loves. That for me has like one expression. The girl that plays Superman's girl, Lois Lane. Just doesn't do it for me. But I get for a lot of folks that's like girl, the girl. And just to move the show along, guys, we're gonna move ahead here, and I want Pete to talk Kingdom because this is a show that I actually do want to watch. Kingdom, and what exactly is it about? And what happened to my Kingdom slide? I don't have a Kingdom slide anymore. Oh, well, that sucks. So we'll just go back to the beginning. Oh, Pete's gone. All right, guys. This is live, in case you didn't realize. But from what I know of Kingdom, I'll talk a little bit about Kingdom because I think it's interesting, um, kind of an interesting show. Is that it is set kind of oh, there you go. I think Pete's coming. It's set like in Imperial times, right, Pete? Kingdom? He's coming back. If any of you can see, we're looking at Pete's wall. In fact, Pete, I think everybody's going to look at your wall because I'm going to stop sharing the screen for a second.
Slightly.
Let me see, I'll put myself there. All right, so talk Kingdom, man. Kingdom! Kingdom! We're there or are we not there? Is Pete there or not there? That is the question. I thought you would have better internet considering the fact that you moved out of like the dungeon. But apparently it's not much different. I don't know what's going on though, because you didn't always have bad,
Actually, it's the
bad
same.
connection. Yeah, but I don't. The mystery is where is this bad connection coming from? Because if you listen to our first,
not great.
But we didn't have that much of a bad connection when we started doing these, so it's progressively gotten worse. So we'll see if we can figure it out. The phone is definitely better.
Yeah,
I probably recommend you turning off the camera.
Your internet is
bandwidth.
bad today. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's kind of okay. It was bad this afternoon. Actually, there was zero internet this afternoon. From what I hear, they're switching all the cables. They're trying to make like fiber optic cables. But the phone is way better than the computer. At least there's less background noise. You might want to turn off the camera next time because that takes up some bandwidth. But anyway, see if you can talk a little bit about Kingdom, and then we can head off into our nightly routines of doing whatever the fuck we do in the midnight hours. Are you there? Yep. Yeah. Yep. Well, we're coming up to the hour mark, guys. From what I know of Kingdom, okay, it's a show that I do want to check out. It's a zombie show. So for those of you that are having some Walking Dead, uh, some withdrawal, there is this. It says that a deceased king rises and a mysterious plague begins to spread. The prince must face a new breed of enemies to unveil the evil scheme and save his people. So, what attracted me to the show is that I just haven't had time to actually watch it. Is the fact that it's like a political drama mixed with let me send Pete a message because we lost him. Might make it sound better. Oh man, I gotta get off of airplane mode. Um, yeah, so it kind of attracted me on that level, and people that have seen it have really liked it. I wanted to get Pete's views on it. Hopefully, we'll get him back on and get everything working. I hope, because Pete is the fucking man. It just sucks that we can't hear him that well, but he's really good at giving nice, concise reviews. I'm the rambler of the group, of the team. he tends to just cut right to the chase, but we can't even do that given the bad audio quality. So, yes, Pete, I'm talking nicely about you. Well, there you go. He's back. Hey, Peter. Oh, wait. He's back. Hey,
Oh,
Peter.
Christ.
There he is. The floor is yours. I was saying wonderful things about you, by the way, while you were gone. So you have to listen back on the playback. This is the 1 hour mark of the show. You are deep into the nuttiness of what it is to live in a third world country. And imagine we all work online. Today, like, just the internet just died. I was like, what? And then I called them and
All
they're
right.
like, oh, it'll be back. It'll be back at some point. All right, hello, dude. When you get on, Pete, just talk. Don't say hi or can you hear me? Just talk. I'm just talking to so we don't have dead air, but you can interrupt me at any point, at any time. Just go ahead and tell us about this show, what you dug about it, what's going on in this shit. The zombies scary.
They're they're very, they're very fast.
I like fast zombies. Depends how you do them. I didn't like World War Z very much, but Train to Busan fast zombies were awesome. Hello, hello. There he is.
There I am. Yes, I'm back on the. Sorry, I'm back on the computer because that actually worked better.
Okay. Well, talk because your
All
sound is
right,
good now. So get it while you can, as
all right.
Janis
So
Joplin
yes,
once said.
kingdom, kingdom. Yes. So I'm gonna have to cram this into a very short period of time. But basically, it's about an Asian kingdom that is obviously Korea, but strangely enough, all the writing is Chinese, and there's this viral outbreak that causes zombies to run rampant and eat people in the 15th century.
Keep going, brother. I'm trying not to interrupt so that your sound doesn't go off. It's perfect now, so just keep going.
All right. So, basically, how this happens is the king of the country, the king of the country, like the king of Korea, basically. He's gonna die, and he has a new wife, a hot young wife, I might add, and she tries to keep him alive by finding this flower that keeps people from dying. But it turns out to be a zombie flower. So she turns the king into a zombie, and the disease spreads, and pretty soon all of Korea is full of zombies.
But there's a political aspect to it too, which I didn't know about.
Yes, well, the hero is the prince.
Mm. Yeah,
He's
that's the part.
the
Go
crown
ahead.
prince, and he's trying to stop this. And as a result of him trying to stop this, he gets branded as a traitor, and he's got to get all the people of Korea on the
Have you? How far have you gotten in it? Are you in the first or second season? Oh, well, guys, we kind of lost Pete, so we'll try to figure out our internet issues for next week. If he comes back, we're just gonna sign off because we're an hour into this already. Um, but this seems like a really good show. I want to really check it out. Uh, Probably we'll see an episode or two next week's and see what's up. Okay. Oh wait, I think I got a little bit of Peter here coming back. There's Peter, looking like the madman that he is. Madman
Video,
Peter.
unfortunately.
It's fine. We're just gonna sign off, Peter, because it's like the sound is just like um
Yeah, that's
the sound
okay.
all
Yeah,
over the place.
there's no connection. There's no connection. It's like I don't know. We started well, but then it just went south badly.
Yeah, so we'll try to figure out next week what we can do. Whether maybe it's where you put your computer, or because even like on the well, let's. I'm gonna sign off.
No,
That
dude.
off there.
This this week, I think it is actually because you have internet issues too. So when we
Yeah, but
both
now you
do, they're just
but
compounded.
But now you sound great. Now you sound wonderful. See, it's like that's the part that's annoying is that when you're about to start talking about the motherfucking movies, that's when the sound goes off. Like right now, there was no lag, there was no cutting, there was nothing. Like it came out perfectly. So I think the internet god got something against you
I know,
because it's incredible. Like you
I
sound like
know,
fine.
I know,
You sound perfect. Uh, so let's test it out.
I know.
Give us give us
Work
your
is
two
like this
minute
as well,
Give us your
unfortunately.
give us your 2 minute wrap up on Kingdom because we do have the wrap up screen here. Where's my wrap up screen?
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to see the second season this week, but it's one of. But yeah, season. It's only 7 episodes long, I think. Amazing, lots of monsters, like thousands of deaths, fast zombies. Um, we got a really cool hero in the Crown Prince, that mother. I mean, very much has a
I told you, as soon as you start talking about the movies that your internet goes off. All right, anyway, Hello, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna check out Kingdom, okay, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about it at the start of next week's episode. And I'll also let you know if maybe I get into Cobra Kai a little bit more by then. I don't know. I might. Oh, there's Pete. And that's it, Pete. We're gonna get our alien on and drink a lot of beer.
All right,
That's what we need.
Phil. Very nice working with you again. Unfortunately, today sucked ass, but what can we say? All days are not perfect.
It's fine, man. It's live podcasting, and thank you to everybody that does listen, audio issues or not. We more or less get, these like average 20 to 30 views or so per video, which is kind of cool. So we get like this steady audience that watches or listens. So thank you to you guys, and we'll be back. Don't worry, we'll be back next week. We'll figure out some ways to make the internet work a little bit better. It's just a matter, Pete. Well, let's think about it. Goodbye.
All right. Yes. Goodbye. Cheers.